don't want to edit that out? You're not gonna let it fly?
I'm still digesting that title. That's either okay. What's gonna happen?
Will I get canceled with that?
Yeah, I mean,
will we all get canceled, or will they just make me get kicked off?
Yeah, I go
talking to Julie about it, and she's like, "Oh, don't."
She knew immediately where that came from, too, huh?
Oh yeah. Don't. I'm like, I didn't say it. Chris said it. She goes, "Oh, that makes sense."
Yeah, I told Jazz, she's all, well, come on, that's funny.
It is funny.
And we're not going to tell you, audience, so suck that.
No, exactly. It's a what?
It's pretty good though.
It was something.
Oh,
it was
God.
something. Oh
Whatever.
man.
Hey, type in the most offensive action figure title for a
Action
show.
Podcast.
Action figure podcast name. You can in the comments, and then we'll see if any of you nail it.
Yeah.
It's not even that offensive. It's not even that offensive. It's just funny as hell.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, today's day and age, we're just gonna run with it, right? So
everything's offensive right now. So
you can't do that.
Whatever.
Oh man, I know that we were all obsessed with this Star Wars Unlimited game.
We're not doing another show about Unlimited.
No, but I just want to say, that box I told you that was up for like 140. Well, I pulled the trigger on it, and then it immediately went to 250. Right, like 10 minutes later, it was sold out.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I was like,
the guy must have realized. Oh, I forgot to move that.
Well, it's Fantasy Flight that's selling it, but it was a UK warehouse, and it was free shipping. So it's
kind of wrapped in, but
so I don't know. But it was the other option. So that sold out. The other buying options went back to like that 220, 250.
Jesus.
Yeah, it didn't last too long. And that's just me checking every 5 minutes. So
were you buying directly from their website, or was it from
Amazon? They had their little page on there. Yeah.
Okay. Jesus, that is insane.
Man, you guys, Joey needed to come on here. You guys didn't watch WrestleMania at all, huh?
I did watch it, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh. You two go ahead.
I don't watch all the wrestling anymore, but it was a pretty good end. I'll just go to the end when everybody shows up, right?
Yeah, but here's the okay. I haven't been into wrestling a long time, but I kind of like catch it and I know what's going on. Like I kind of because again, if you're a wrestling fan, you always try to pay attention to no matter right.
It's always in your vision somewhere.
Yeah. I felt like I didn't feel like the wrestlers that the WWE have today are that strong enough to carry shows like big events. I don't think. Again, I could be completely wrong, but they don't have that kind of impact that when we grew up on. Yeah. So when you throw in a John Cena, and Undertaker, and all this stuff, I think it's more like hey, we need these little and it's just these little
their main guys can't carry a show, so they bring in all the old guys, right?
Yeah,
and that's what it's kind of like the sequels.
Yeah. The new characters can't. I love
the sequels. Okay,
right.
Now I know what you're talking about.
I like Cody Rhodes. I like the bloodline. The whole. I like them, but I just think they were more like back in the day. They're like these secondary characters. But where's like the big The Rock is like bigger than life now, right?
Who's the biggest one there? Life, so. And it was Reigns, and he ain't even that big. His personality is not big enough. There's no Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, none of that stuff. No Cena, Rock, Austin, or Taker.
Where they're like, So I did watch it, and I just found myself going like having fun because I always loved wrestling, like always, no matter what. But I did lose a lot of the mystique after the NWO wrapped up and all of that stuff, the Attitude Era, all that stuff, and even after. So Attitude was after, but that's when it was like, this is awesome, man.
Scott, I'm actually surprised you didn't like wrestling as a kid growing up, because to me, like wrestling is that it's a sport, and I know you didn't love all the sports and stuff, right? Or to baseball or nothing, but it's kind of like they reminded me of superheroes, right? They're built like them. They're even the tights. It's
G.I. Joe come to life sometimes,
Oh yeah, sure. Sergeant Slaughter himself, Yeah. That really is odd. You just never got into wrestling at all, dude?
No, never did. It wasn't something that, because I'm the oldest, right? And I wasn't
Like 2
into it. My
years.
sister
Yeah.
wasn't into it. No, I'm talking about in my family. I'm the
Oh.
oldest kid in
Yeah.
the family, right? It's
Yeah.
of all my cousins and everything. I am the oldest. I wasn't into it. None of them were into it, and it just we're all.
Yeah, I got
artist
into
nerds,
it,
you know, just
because
to
of
get into it.
my older brother was into it, but I was like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
I didn't have an
6,
older
7
brother. It was
years
just
old
me.
when when like
If I had 'em-
WrestleMania came out. I was like 6 or 7.
It was
you
the
know?
it was the yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's also my parents. It's not something my parents were into. So when we sat down to watch TV at night, it was sitcoms or it was a movie or
Hmm.
something like that. It wasn't WrestleMania. It
Well,
just
yeah,
never came up in the household.
Oh,
This
funny.
is
It's
a
just
good.
what I would see. It's just what I would see. It wouldn't like my family. Nobody was into it, but
Yeah.
it was. I don't know. It just caught me. Maybe it was on TV at certain times, or I couldn't sleep, and it was on late at night. I remember I want to stay up and watch the late night show at 10 o'clock when I'm supposed to be in bed, right?
Yeah.
But then
Sundays at
these
10,
characters were just bigger than life, man.
Yeah.
and they were real.
I watched Glow. I did.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Ladies.
It's not
for
the same
different
thing.
reasons, but
No,
hey,
for different reasons. But yeah, I did not watch.
That's
But
funny. Did you watch? Did you? Okay, hold on. Since we're doing this real fast, how about the roller?
yes,
roller
I was just
derby?
about to. I was just about. Remember the sudden death when they had the alligators in the pit and they put alligators in the
I
middle.
love it.
Like,
Yeah.
I was
Roller
just
derby
because they had the whole storylines going and this person and it's all staged. But as a kid, I was like, "What's going on?
Yeah,
Sudden
it's
death?
great.
Like they're gonna feed these guys to alligators or whatever whatever
Yeah.
they had." And
That's great stuff, man.
I was just gonna bring it up like my parents were. I mean, when I was growing up, I was into wrestling. Like me, my parents they didn't. But eventually they bought into what I was interested in. Then we got the pay-per-views, got to go see some events, but my parents, see,
that's awesome.
I always have to bring up this kind of generational thing, right? We're all Gen X here. Chris and I are the later end of Gen X. I think you are right at that cusp where 74, right?
74. Yeah.
So 74 is at that cusp where you can almost have a sub generation from 76 on up to 80. Right, you can almost have the sub one because I was too young to remember a lot of the stuff the Gen X's are credited for, like Watergate, Vietnam War. That was stuff after the fact.
See, I see all that as boomers to me.
Well, no, they were involved, but we grew up experiencing it as far as like watching it, right? I was watching this whole thing on the Disney Plus channel, and they had a Gen X thing. It was like the kids that were glued to the TV. Why were they glued to the TV? It's because parents were working or just not there. Like I said, the divorce rates were the highest ever was. So the kids were left to the devices of the babysitter, the TV.
Yeah. Yep.
And
my grandmother.
Yeah. So like my parents they're workers, man. They worked. I was a latchkey kid. I was left up to my own devices. When I left on a Saturday morning, I didn't come home until the street lights come. Like I was out exploring. I was doing stuff. But yes, I was also indoor kid too. I was glued to the TV set, and wrestling is that my brother was into it because WrestleMania is all that, the first one, the second one. So King Kong Bundy's.
Would he just get him on VHS?
No, I would.
That's how I would get him.
So Saturday and Sunday mornings Saturday was like the Piper's Pit, all that stuff, right? They had like Saturday
the pay-per-views, like WrestleMania.
Oh no, I usually go to a friend's house that had the illegal box, and we'd watch it up until the point where I would beg my parents to get it. But I would rent.
We never did a pay-per-view, but what I always had to do, and there was no internet, so I wasn't getting spoiled too much because none of my people were watching it. Right, I had
Saturday
to wait for it to come out, which is a long time back then, right? For WrestleMania 2 to come out on VHS at the rental shop.
Because I was all the kids like, so and so is gonna have it, and we'd all go to that person's house and we'd watch it, right? Up until the point where
maybe that's why. Because it was exactly. No, it was.
I missed it.
We didn't have the pay-per-view. We didn't do the pay-per-view. It wasn't something you just tune into, right? It was
it's $50. It was like Turner TV or whatever.
And if you catch it live, it's late at night or a cartoon. And so another reason I would think you might have seen it, or get into it. Was the cartoon.
The cartoon.
For me, it was. I would get home and I'd watch G.I. Joe or Transformers, or back in the day, growing up when my grandmother was my babysitter, we'd watch Superman and Batman and all those things. I was taught at an early age superheroes, right? So it was Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Fantastic Four, stuff like that. It wasn't wrestling. It just wasn't on my radar. It wasn't until high school or junior high when people were really into wrestling. I grew up in Phelan, man. Nobody had cable out there. Nobody had.
You're right. You do have an excuse. You do have an excuse.
I didn't even have MTV until 1989. So it's like,
yeah. No,
my kids got into it for a hot minute, dude. And I was so happy when they did. Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. I get to dust all this off and remember, we went to wrestling events down in Ontario and to a Raw taping. And it was like, this is really neat. I loved it. And even now, even though they're out of it now, if we catch something, we'll still be like, hey, did you see CM Punk's back in WWE? We'll do that because that was Luke's guy, right? Or hey, Cena's going bald. If do you see how bad that was?
I did see it. I was all.
You know what? That guy is looking rough now that he's not roided up.
Yeah.
Right now he's not a full-time wrestler. He's looking older. It's making him like his body shrink. Not that he's not still buff, but it's not the same not the same as The Rock.
Can't keep it up, man.
Like The Rock has done. He's continued to do this stuff.
Yeah.
He hasn't stopped.
The Rock went through a phase though where he lost a lot of that bulk. It like the movie The Tooth Fairy, which I didn't see, but I remember seeing the trailers and the posters for it. And I'm like, whoa! But now, I mean, the dude is fucking.
Oh yeah, he went through this
at 50.
Yeah,
51 years old, man.
Tell me that's not,
it's very impressive.
It's impressive and enhanced. I mean, that's totally cool because
he got body slammed through a table. You know what I mean? Or
no, it was his career, right? You're not doing anything that cheats anybody else, and they're doing whatever. Doesn't bother me. I actually like the steroid era of baseball. My favorite.
that was the most.
Era of
well, here's the thing: steroid era baseball came right after the strike, so baseball needed this because it was downhill.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you had the home run. He had the home run off with Sammy Sosa or Barry. Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire is right after the strike. Yeah. Everybody was glued to that 61st.
Every day in the paper, I'd run to that paper. Let me see. I'm gonna look at the stats.
Day,
boom,
dude.
boom, boom. Who got one? Oh my God! One hit two. One hit one.
And then the next
two.
Yeah, and then Barry Bonds crushes it, and it's like nope.
Then he came around later, and I was what a waste of a cool era.
It's so funny. I could sit here and talk Angels baseball with you. Like to the T, from like 80s to 90s to championship series to everything. I could talk wrestling, old school wrestling, up until like the CM Punk days. Because after that's where I kind of like I felt the gimmicky stuff fell off, and when it came in as their actual names, and it was like there's no flair to them. That's why I lost.
Yeah, they stopped. They let it out now. Now it was
almost like UFC in this era of sports entertainment, right?
Yeah, they're called by the same company now. And it's
and
weird.
I think that's because I was in the heyday of, like I said, where NWO, that kind of era was so exciting, was so interesting, it was so fun to see like the Hogan turn, Macho Man turn, everything, and then The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Kane, all that stuff was amazing. Like the Kurt Angle, like those were, I think, the peak of the new era of wrestling stuff. And then when
Joey's gonna be so pissed when
I told him
he missed out.
I told him, but and then I was like, okay, well, I'm watching wrestling and I don't feel entertained as far as like the flair, the storylines, the way they used to do things back in the day. I think they went to produced, so it almost looks like an NFL pregame show. Like, I mean, WrestleMania is 2 days now, and they have press conferences, and they have after press conferences, and it's like,
and talking about with their real names. And when Triple H comes out, he's Paul Triple H Levesque.
Yeah,
your initials are PL. Where's the HHH come from now?
Hunter Helms. When he was Triple H back in when he was introduced. So
remember that, how lame he was. That was lame too.
He like what was like a Frenchman.
He was a nobleman, had a ponytail.
He had like a British dude or something. I don't know what.
Would smack people across the way, and then he turns into probably the biggest, baddest brother on the right. He killed it for a long time.
D-Generation X, man, that was a team that again.
Now he runs the company.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
Well, he married the daughter, so yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy how growing up and how many things we were into, and like I said with the Transformers and G.I. Joe, but like right after, it was again. I used to run indoors, and two things on Saturdays I used to go at a certain time. I was out playing, and I'd run in to watch the hour of wrestling on Saturday because that was the most exciting. The Sundays one were like these pre-taped at like Madison Square, whatever it was, but Saturday had like the Piper's Pit. It had like all this hype and stuff, and then right after was Elvira.
I assume is that Roddy Piper?
Yeah, like it was almost like his little talk show kind of thing. They live,
and he was also an Iron Grenadier in GI Joe. So there you go.
Yeah,
he was one of Destro's people. So
love it. Oh,
Roddy Piper is awesome. I got to meet Roddy Piper too in real life.
Saturday mornings came up, right? And I'm trying to get away from this for Scott. I'm trying.
Oh no,
but
I was about to, but go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm like, what did I used to do on Saturday mornings? And it was you guys know Clayton, but me and him were like, we were the buddies, right? And we would go out and did you guys? I mean, do kids play guns anymore? Like at all? I never see kids
they get shot.
Guns. I know. We used to have all these real looking guns and go around hiding in bushes and doing ourselves up and making grenades out of toilet paper rolls. And
I still have a water gun that looks like an actual Uzi.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. And the Uzi was the favorite gun. Always.
Oh yeah.
Because Snake Eyes had one. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. It had the rattle effect.
Yeah.
No orange tip, by the way.
No. It does not have an orange tip. It is. No. I get murdered if I went out with that thing right now. So.
Absolutely.
We used to have like arsenals like that, man. Like not just one or two, man. We used to have boxes of those too.
Whenever I got home, I had a Honda. I had a motorcycle. I had a dirt bike. I'd ride bikes. I'd ride my motorcycle. I'd play GI Joe. I was such a weird kid.
Scott, I wouldn't have known dirt biking from you. I don't know why. I don't know.
Me neither. I was like,
do you don't steal it all? Do you?
No. I haven't in 30 years, man. 40 years, 35 years, something like that. So, yeah, I think my mom and dad bought it for me when I was 10 or 11. And they taught
there was
me
no
how
way
to
my
ride,
parents would buy me that. No way.
We lived in the middle of nowhere. Our roads were all dirt roads, so it was
That's
just
different too.
Stay within a mile of the house, and you're good to go.
You guys both
later. What's a mile?
Yeah, you guys both grew up in the high desert. We moved up here when? Like what age?
83. I was 8 years old.
83. I was 6.
Were you up here at 83, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are, so like where I grew up, there was nobody rode dirt bike. I mean, it was a city, it wasn't it was no dirt bike areas to do it. And if you had a dirt bike, you were out. I don't know. I don't remember anybody that I grew up with had that. So we ran around the neighborhood again, strapped to the T of water guns, and water balloons was a big thing. GI Joes, everything, and we would be going around we would just be exploring the city, almost getting hit by cars, and we never had to worry about getting kidnapped. We never had to worry about getting shot by the police, like with pointing guns, right? Like playing the gun things, right? And it was just a different time. When you got hurt outside, I got yelled at again. I got yelled at for getting hurt outside. You know what I mean? It's like, if you got into a fight, you got beat at home. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a complete different times.
I got yelled at for stalling my motorcycle. It fell over on me, and I wasn't strong enough to pick it up. So
I crashed my bike many times, but the one time that I crashed it bad, where I had the bloody nose, scraped head, my arms like this, and my mom's like, "Get in the house!" just stop your crying, get in the house.
My dad used to love to tell stories, because my dad grew up also. He was born in 1957. He moved up here in the early 60s, right? So he had a motorcycle whenever he was a teenager. So he kind of wanted to share that with me. And he would tell me these stories about the shit that he would get into, and being a teenager and working at the KFC in Victorville. The one on Palmdale Road, D Street, right? Or not D Street? Yeah, 7th Street. So how he would put M80s inside of people's buckets. Friends of his would come over and get a bucket. He'd pop a M80 in there and close up the window. He'd get up top and he'd shoot them with water and just hose people down as they walked up. But he told me this story, and this always freaked me out, about him and a motorcycle. He's riding around doing his thing, and he decides that he's a badass, so he's going to go off a jump.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes off the jump, and he loses his grip somehow on the motorcycle, and he lands face first in a Joshua tree.
Oh, fudge.
See, today you would get arrested for doing that.
Right?
Oh, yeah, did he get stabbed, though? I mean, I had to go through something.
Yeah, he told stories about outrunning police on his motorcycle, or at least he thought he did, but he didn't. But yeah, it was the story then of my grandmother with pliers and tweezers pulling the prongs out of it. And that was just a different era, right? Get in here. So he'd walk in there and she'd pliers to pull those.
That hurts, man. That's not. Yeah, that's vicious.
Hardcore.
Yeah. My parents were too busy, too busy working. So it's, are you home? You're safe. Go to bed. You got school in the morning. Like that's it. You know. Of course they cared about us, but at the same time, they didn't have time to baby wounds. You know what I mean? It was like, sit home, do this. I got to work. I got to do this. And I appreciate it so much. That's why I probably love being the isolation today as an adult. I like sometimes I like being by myself and consuming things. I just consume. I'm a consumer. Yeah. You know, just like what I mentioned before, a long time ago to you guys, were like, growing up the way we did, I appreciate it so much. And it's, why does everything suck today? You know, why is everything suck today? Because we're the ones creating things today. Like, we weren't the creators but we were consumers as kids, but trying to create things. That's why you still have Ninja Turtles and Transformers and He-Man. Today it's because our generation is trying to bring it back, I guess, or whatever. And it's just not, it doesn't work. Because we did not create it. You know? If you look at the
ages of those creators, they were the boomers. The boomers are the ones that created you know, Larry Hama, who was a Vietnam veteran, you know, and it's
George Lucas. I mean, all these, you know, so I always have to put that in there. Go, okay, we're great consumers, but we're horrible storytellers. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm just saying as a collective. I know that there's I know that there's exceptions, and I know that there's a lot of Gen X that are really good.
Generalization, but you're right. You know, we don't have the visionaries right now that we had back then, or at least I'm not seeing them because I'm not in the demographic of maybe, you know.
It's not stuff I'm watching. It's not stuff that's in my peripherals, right?
And also see this too as an observation, like Gen X as parents. We're also helicopter parents too. No, or to a point, we weren't treating our kids how we were treated. We are involved in like, oh, are you safe? Call me when you get there. Make sure you're safe. You know, because again, how things are, you know, and so you go, okay. And then I always question, like, well, why isn't like my kid? He likes what I like, but he won't do this, right? He, you know, maybe to a very, very small point. But and I always go like, well, why? Where is that dreamer out there sitting in front of TV, consuming things and just living in that moment and stuff like we did? You know, we made that our entire lives, right? Before we discovered girls, we were about running around the neighborhood with, you know, squirting each other with guns and stuff. And it's like, I don't understand how this is why Toys R Us fell, because kids, they weren't buying toys, you know what I mean? And I was trying to look at it, like, okay, like what is there that works so well with or by design works so well, I guess, maybe. And then so you fast forward to today and it's completely different. It's completely opposite, you know. There are, again, exceptions like the 1313 podcast guys. Those guys are the younger generation, and they do this. They podcast. They have collections. So there are exceptions. I understand that. Yeah.
They're the torch, but it's not enough. Carry on.
Yeah. Right. It's just not enough to sustain a movement, right? They're just, you know, but they're doing great. So
they are. That makes me want. I mean, because you had said a couple weeks ago that we could write a killer script. You know, we could create a killer movie just based on what we know. You know, what we lack is the time to do it, and the money and the finances to do it. I wonder what that movie would be, because I'm all in. I'm always all in. I'm ready to go.
Also,
even whenever I'm not all in, even whenever I'm not all in and I don't want to do it, I can't help myself. Like that.
Well, sure, but I also said that like the three of us sitting and we write in the same story, we'd probably disagree with everything that each one of us is putting down on paper too.
Right, but if we work together, at it, we could hash it out and we could make it work. That's what works. That's that's why a team works so. A team can work so well together. Right?
Yeah.
It's got to be like it'd be like you said, putting a deck together, right? Does that work with what we want to do here? We all agree on this piece 3 steps down,
right?
So which one of this agrees more with that,
right?
You know, sometimes I feel like they're all in a room going, yes, yours works great, but I'm going to sneak mine in here, and then by the time you're done it all, it's like, where's everything at?
Perfect example, and not to just bring it back to Star Wars, but perfect example of what we just talked about Barriss, Ophi, and Vader on how that interaction would work. Like, I look at the black. There's that straightforward thing about he would just go after, but there's also like this bigger picture thing that I was trying to look at, going like, would he do this? Like just kind of work myself around it, and we could throw it all on the table and be like, all right, look, this all makes sense because this, character, you have to look at Anakin as a character or Vader as a character, and then what is this going? How it's going to impact is where a collective, a group would look and go, all right, if he did that satisfies him, that's cool. But now, what other conflict is that creating? And that could create a cool story going forward. Like
you think, where does her story end, right? And then when you do that, what garners the biggest reaction? From the room. That's how they should do it. It's like, everybody said, whoa, that's what we're getting in here somehow. You might tweak it 4 or 5 times, but the heart of that is going to be there, right? So whether it be like the whoa is Vader walks in, sees her, and crushes her, right? So take a step back. Now yours was she's going to do it in private. I disagree with that. So let's make sure she steps back, does it publicly, but does it a little bit later, and make what I mean. There's that piece where everybody goes, "Oh, there it is." And you still get the whoa, and you still get, and
100%, dude. And
that's how they
like,
should. They do, man. I mean, we're not in a room in all these
movies. I assume
they do it. They're just not us.
Hollywood is a team. Most. It's very rare where it's just like one guy writes it, one guy directs it, one guy edits it, and it's his vision.
Absolutely.
It is a thing where it's a room of, look at like late night talk shows. It's a room of writers, 20 or not 20, like South Park. Look at South Park. It's not just those 2 guys. It's like 5, 6 guys in a room, comedians, and they're all just throwing out what is the biggest laugh, and they write it down, and they write, well, that would be funny if this happened, and then they concoct a story around it that just got the biggest laughs in the entire room. So and they all get credit for it, but publicly it's Matt and Trey Parker, right? It's those guys.
Yeah.
But it's not, Bill Hader's involved. It's not all like these other
career wise, it helps those guys, but public recognition wise, nobody knows.
Like, look, Jay Leno has a team of writers sitting around a table to come up with his monologue and the jokes throughout the night, but it's a Jay Leno show, right? So it'd be stupid to have one person run the whole show.
Yeah.
Is that going back on?
Except for Dave Filoni.
Which one?
What was that?
South Park?
No, Jay Leno. Does he still exist?
No.
Like,
he exists, but he doesn't do a show.
I don't know. I'm just because that's a household name. That's
why how do you not know who's on late night?
I don't watch. I don't have cable, so I don't really. So
I've been watching. I do record one late night show, and it's after midnight because I used to watch At Midnight with Chris Hardwick, and it's great. It's a fun game show, and now it's After Midnight with Taylor Tomlinson, and it's funny as hell. So I watch a late night game show with lots of bleeps.
The only thing I watch religiously is Bill Maher every Friday. That's on HBO. It's on HBO. I watch that.
I don't have anything I watch weekly.
Yeah,
unless there's a series on like that, but I don't have anybody's show I watch. Or
that's the only thing I watch weekly.
Like the reels, I watch a lot of those. Gotta look for my sports stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
But
that's how I come across like the wrestling stuff, right? If I'm flipping through TikTok or reels and I like, that's cool. Okay, John Cena's back. Okay, cool. And then I happen to catch WrestleMania because I got the replay on Peacock or whatever it was.
It's whatever you put in. If you look at it one time on your phone or even say it out
man.
Loud, man, it's on, dude. I sat there and I looked up. I've got a Kurt Rambis jersey, so boom, my entire feed went basketball for me. It still is, right? And it was old school basketball for a very long time. Then it became more. It's like it's all that. It just does that, dude.
It does, man.
I'm all up in cards right now. I'm getting card feeds all the time.
Are you really?
Yes, that's out of nowhere. I didn't even go to a page.
You're going to get like Magic the Gathering.
No,
you're going to get like
I do. I search them up in Google.
Yeah.
So
I was
yeah.
You're not wrong though, because I was I was somewhere and I had accidentally clicked on a friend's link, and that link went to a gun site, and now my ads were all holsters and stuff, and I'm like, oh,
Yep.
okay,
Yeah.
wow, that's
Same.
You really got to play with, and you're like, oh man, my algorithm's all screwed up. So you got to like literally search for other things you want it to be, so
Yeah.
you can fix your algorithm.
Yeah.
Spotify's like that with music. You're like, oh no, they snuck some country in here. My bad. I got to really get through this.
I got really
Yeah.
upset at I'm not going to say her name because then she'll pop up and ask me what the weather is tomorrow. But you know which one I'm talking about, right? I said play music from this, whatever. And about an hour in, it was into some country stuff, and I was like tripping over myself to almost unplug, like throw her across the room because I was like, don't ever play that ever in my life.
And you can't tell it that either because it doesn't understand, because
it went to like it was so weird and so random how it went from death metal all the way to like a country song because something either in lyrics or a guest spot
it was 6 degrees or something, right? Somebody had a duet with somebody,
and I was like,
whooped in.
Yeah, I was like, skip, and then play another one, skip, and then I'm all, dude,
see,
you
bitch.
Seriously.
I do Apple Music because I've got like 47,000 songs in there, and all I have to do is hit shuffle, and I'm pretty satisfied usually.
Yeah,
but I have the one you were talking about, that rhymes with
who may not be named. Yes.
And I've also got a Google thing in the other room, and I just go in there and say play 80s new wave, and immediately Depeche Mode. I'm like, all right, we're good.
I have my playlist, my new wave playlist, and it usually starts with Flock of Seagulls, Space Age Love Song. Always.
God
boom.
Damn, that's a great song.
And then it goes right. The next song after is always a Depeche Mode song. Always. And then the other day it went on to this thing. I couldn't turn it off because it was like B-side hit over B-side hit. It went, like I said, it went to Devo's, it was just like, oh my God, every
deep
song
cuts,
that's playing is
deep
really
cuts
good. Yeah, deep cuts. And I can't get it to save that kind of playlist, right? Because
usually you get the hits when you're on Pandora or on you're getting the main hits. You do 80s pop, you're getting literally the 80s pop. Nothing nothing else.
Because I don't listen to radio, so I'm sorry. So I don't listen to radio, but I do the whole shuffle, like so I could kind of like get a sense of what is being produced, and like Scott mentioned a while too, there's some crap. I mean, real crap out there, but yeah.
Yeah, so I've got Apple Music, right? I pay the monthly subscription for Apple Music, which means that I get any song I want, anywhere I want, and it's linked to Shazam. So if I'm out and about, it's like when we were driving the other day and you were playing a Motorhead song I wanted. I'm like, oh, I want to hear that again. I Shazammed it while I was in the passenger seat, and now it automatically dropped into my playlist.
Nice.
So it's all linked,
I gotta do that. Yeah.
We were talking about watching TV, and it was an award show. It was like the fucking Grammys or something, right? And I'm like, who the hell is this that just won best jelly roll? What is this
jelly roll
dude with the tattoos on his face?
He was a rapper.
He came from the Juggalo world, man. What's up?
But even then, I mean, just every artist that's out there right now, though, it's like, okay, it's not for me. I don't know who this is, and I don't want to sound like an asshole for saying I don't like it.
You like what you like, dude. Like seriously, music is very subjective. I make fun of it because I mean, look, I do it sometimes to get a rise out of you guys. But most of the time, it's very innocent, very fun. It's very
you end up loving you. Look, we all, for the most part, I think we love what we love from our high school days.
Oh yeah.
Right, and that's how it was. Like I tell my kids when they're over here and we're listening to music on the thing. If you notice, 90% of my shit's from 1994.
Yeah,
right. It's like the year between junior and senior year was the biggest.
Yeah. It's where you discover yourself, man.
Right, and then you start liking that stuff, and then even to this point, though, those are the bands that I still want to go see or still want them to make music, and they are.
Yeah. And they are.
They are, which is wild, right? Then think back, and you're like, damn, that's like in '95, like the Beatles still,
right,
playing and making albums.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like toys and comics today. It's the same stuff.
Yep.
Still today.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
talking about Depeche Mode, they just yesterday wrapped up their world tour. They were touring for like 15 months or something like that, nonstop. England, America, just bouncing back and forth. And those guys are all in their 60s now, and they're
Yeah.
still up there just sounding incredible. And it's
man.
it's wild.
Maynard
It
just
is.
turned 60.
Yeah.
That's
That's
crazy.
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And again, yeah,
That's older than like go again back to about the 90s, right? That's older than say Steven Tyler or anybody at that point would have. It's
Yeah.
stupid.
And you think about it. Okay, when did Maynard come out with his? What year did Tool drop their first
92
album?
opiate?
92,
yeah,
right?
like
92
Right.
opiate,
like 92ish. Yeah.
So that was 32 years ago. He was how old? 32 years ago. He was 28 years old.
Yeah.
So you got a 28-year-old guy up there just wailing, and now he's 60 and he's still out there doing his thing. That's impressive, you know.
But now he's an old fart telling everybody to put their phones away. It's neat.
I
love
absolutely love it. Ernie on his show was talking about concert experiences, and he was talking about how everybody is just like this, you know.
I hate it.
This
Hate it
just
so
whatever.
much.
And to me personally, like I have this mentality, and this might be a guy thing, could be a me thing, whatever. But if I'm anywhere I go, and it could be Niagara Falls, it could be the Grand Canyon, I don't take pictures. I just don't. It's not like I just refuse to. I just don't. I just like being in the moment, and it was for me. Like my experiences are from me. Like those are my things. And yeah, it's cool. I might take a pic here and there just to have it, but nothing like post it on Facebook or to show other people. I just do it, and because I feel like it was an experience that I chose to go do. So if even at a concert, I'm there in the moment, and I want to see the band. Yeah. And I don't know. I understand about viewing it and then watching it later, so you never really were there because you're looking at it through your phone, and you're looking at it through your phone later. You never with your eyes saw the band. You know,
Right.
You come over to my. You come over to my house, you go into my living room, actually anywhere in the house, and the photos that are on the walls, those are all photos I took.
That's awesome.
In our travels.
That's
right?
good. Yeah.
But as far as a concert goes, every song that comes out, I will record the first 15 seconds of the song just so I can remember what song was. I have a list of bands I've been and seen, and I've got the playlists of the actual concerts.
The set list. Yeah.
I've got those built in my iTunes as playlists. So if I want to know, I went and saw Depeche Mode May of 1993 at the Forum. This was the set list. I want to listen to those songs in that order. It's just so I can relive those moments.
You know, Setlist FM. I found one that has them all there, and you can go backwards and everything. That's how I was prepping for the concert before Tool. I was like, "What are they going to play?" You know, let me get the wife ready.
I can still pull up the set list from my very first concert ever in '94. Every band in their set list. That's what's great about it. But like, it's just again, it's nothing like I'm against it, right? Like I'm not against taking pictures or whatever. I just like to be there. I like to be there when I'm there.
Yeah, I don't mind a picture or two when I get there, right? And or a quick picture of the stage or something real fast. But after that, I want to sit. I want to relax. I don't want to think about let me pull this out and do that and then put it back and let me reach for that. I want to sit there and be in this.
And also, I am also going to concerts where I don't really sit still. So it's like I don't really have time to do that. You know, if the guys are with their cell phones out, it's getting tossed anyway. But I don't like sitting. I mean, there's certain bands that I will like. There's certain even metal. I would like Tool. Just sit down and watch that freaking show, man. That's great. But if I'm going to a Slayer concert, I'm going to a Slayer concert, right? And I don't have time to take pictures because that's the distraction. That's A, but B, if I do take, it's very, very minimal, and it's a personal choice, and I like to, like I said, I like to experience things and have that playing in my head.
Identify
and I don't
as non-photo.
Yeah, I identify as non-photo. I don't know. It's just not a thing I do. It's just not a thing I like to do it, and I like to post, and I like to just get my set. Then I can see my memories each year as they come up. Yeah, I don't care about my memories. I have.
Then as it comes up, I'm like,
you will.
I don't.
Eventually.
I don't. There's a bunch of times where I'm like, I don't like that memory. Boom, it's gone. Well,
Well,
it's gone.
I have them. I was there. I
removed
experienced it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
experienced it. I don't need a flip book for it. Like that's just me again, right?
Oh, see, and that
But
helps
for me
sometimes.
being
I
single,
do like that. Yeah.
when I was married, she took care of that stuff. I
Yeah.
didn't do it. So, and it just was those things where, like, if I go to Disney, I'm there. I'm here. Why am I need a? I don't. I'll go again. I go. I don't know. Because I think I just like living in the moment, and I'm always looking for the next thing, the next adventure and stuff. So I try to not
do these.
what's that? Oh, are you talking about the what is it? The red thing? What are you talking about?
Come on. From The Office. Remember when they were getting married at Niagara Falls?
Oh, yes,
snapshots.
exactly. The mental snapshots. That's it. That's all you need.
See,
Disappointed you didn't just jump on that, but whatever.
Sorry, I'm still on a Big Bang thing, but
yeah, I get you.
my family, there's a certain group in my family that have Alzheimer's seems to run in that certain branch of the family. And I like to make sure that there are memories that we can look back on at all times. So I'm heavy into taking photos as much as possible, not necessarily of sometimes it's us in front of something or, but usually it's the area, what we experienced, the whole bit. So
I don't even like looking at photo albums. I get too
cranky old man, dude.
No, I get too emotional about it. And so I just like, okay, I was there. Like I don't.
You're a bitch. Got it.
Yeah.
No,
not almost.
I'm the biggest one here. I'm kidding. I cried.
I'm not saying like I'll sit there and cry. I just have a hard time sit there and looking at like old photos and stuff like that. And it's like one of those places that's uncomfortable for me to revisit. I'm not in touch with those feelings. Okay.
Something came out the other day. I was like this. Let me see if I have it here. Like this came out the other day when I was cleaning my office. That's me and Clayton I was talking about. Look, that's the party house, dude.
Yeah.
I think I'm holding up.
You had hair.
Look, what am I holding, dude?
Both you had hair.
That's kind of hair. That's a Hornsby's right there, dude. We got to hook up and get another Hornsby's.
We got it. The last time I drank Hornsby's, the last time I ever drank Hornsby's was at your house when we did the drinking game.
The Star Wars. Oh no, Jay and Silent Bob.
Every time they dropped the F-bomb.
We had to drink. So
you were wasted by the beginning.
We were 15 minutes in.
That's the Max Rebo tour shirt.
Nice.
Right there. That's pretty good.
That's like a Sunco special right there, man.
Yeah, right. I tried to find it not too long ago, and it was like $100 online.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, worn and old.
Yeah, of course. Oh, dude, vintage shirts, or even like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's when Scott told me that. Scott, you said that. That's exactly when I was looking. That was the discussion that brought it up. Actually, was looking for that shirt. And then you said you have a bunch of vintage that go for a ton, right?
Yeah. I've got an Oingo Boingo concert shirt I picked up in 1992. I want to say that it's still in my closet. That sucker goes for like $400.
Jesus Christ!
It's
big
crazy,
market, man.
Yeah,
it is crazy.
eBay right now, big market is vintage shirts.
Oh yeah.
Especially
shirts. My first concert, which I wish I still had the shirt for that, was Body Count, the Butthole Surfers, Jane's Addiction, Living Color, Nine Inch Nails, the Rollins Band, Susie and the Banshees, and just Ice-T. Was that a
festival?
Solo. Yeah, it was Lollapalooza. 1991 Irvine Meadow.
Oh, dude. That's a great lineup.
I think it was 94 Compton Community College, the Beastie Boys.
Hell yeah. Nice. Mine was 94 as well. It was a Metallica show. So Metallica, it was supposed to be Alice in Chains, but they all went to rehab. So it was Rob Halford's Fight, Candlebox, Suicidal Tendencies, and then Metallica was the headline.
So July 1991, July 24th, 1991, I was 16 years old, and that was my first concert.
Mine was 18 years old, right out of high school. My friend called me up and said, you want to go see Metallica at the Glen Helen? I'm like, yeah. He goes, wire me $100 because that's how much back then, about how much seats were. All right. Yeah. So I went, I had my first job. I was working at a bowling alley, and I at that time we had to wire money because it was a whole different thing. So wired him the money. He got the tickets. I asked my parents. I was a late bloomer as far as I didn't want to drive. I didn't care about driving. I didn't want to drive until I got a girlfriend. I was like, oh, she's gone. Right. again, that was a night and day life-changing experience. So, and then it was like I'm shocked my parents let me take the car, first time ever driving on a freeway down, locally here, down the hill to the Glen Helen Amphitheater, right? And seeing a metal show
That's a
for the
nightmare.
first time.
Blockbuster
Just turned
Pavilion,
18.
baby.
Yeah, just turned 18. They said, yeah, go for it. I'm like, okay.
Nightmare now. It was a nightmare then.
Yeah, and me, I'm white knuckling all the way down, right? Just like, again, I'm just turned 18, surrounded by all these metalheads, concert goers, and I was just like, well, I didn't even know what to expect. Like I did, but we had seats, right? So I'm like, okay, how wild can it get? And it was like life changing, dude. Like life changing, it was all downhill from there.
It took Julie to her first concert. It was The Cure at the Rose Bowl, 1992. She was 14. I'm 17, and I still don't know how I was able to convince her parents to let me take her.
Right,
but,
14. Yeah,
14 years old. Took her to see The Cure. We were 13th row, dead center in front of the stage, getting our ears melted off of us from. And it again, a life changing experience. But I still do not know how her parents, how Dom and Phillips let me do that. So,
it's like, it's so funny because I always wanted to go to concerts with my friends. I never wanted to go with Daisy, right? Because I took her to see Pantera, White Zombie at the Forum. Yeah, at the Forum. That was her first concert, but I never really cared to take. I wanted to take a friend's because friends are different to go with than like your wife or girlfriend because. Just different. It's just different. And it's like, I hated it. I didn't want to take her nowhere. Like I'm going to fucking see this and I'm going to do my thing, man. I don't want to take care of you.
You're not
I don't
married anymore? How is that possible? I don't
my
understand.
choice, man.
Yeah.
Unless I find a girl that's going to be right there with me with these kind of shows, that's cool. But up until then, I have no desire to change my ways for anybody. And I might die alone that way. I don't care anymore. It's like, who cares? It's why be bothered with that, with the minor details in life like that. That's what I gotta tell myself, right? So
wow.
Well, I mean, it's again, you get maybe it is cranky, and maybe let's get to the thing where it's like I want to eat what I want to eat, I want to watch what I want to watch. I don't want to compromise anymore. Why? I mean, why do it? I get to that point. I was like, I don't want to watch this show. I'm not gonna watch it. Fuck it. I'm not going to go to this concert because I don't want to.
Okay, we do compromise there because my last concert was Thomas Rhett. So
I don't even know who that is.
That was the point. That's why I said it. That's why I didn't just say a country concert, right? So we do compromise. It was just a lot in a row where I was just going there, and I'm like, then I realized them all.
When you told me you have a favorite country song, I looked at you like a different friend.
I do like. Well, that's what's funny is for a minute there because the music now sucks, right? I'm trying to find something else, and then you realize Hootie was turning country, and that was my first country concert. Right? So I'm all, you know what? This was a pretty good experience, and it was Irvine, right? And also everybody was really effing nice. I'm like, this is like a really, really cool experience. So I said, we'll keep going to that, and I'll start listening because I got some rock out of Hootie, right? Then you start realizing these guys, they're playing their instruments. It's a little more rock than the old country stuff was, right? So I'm like, I can dig this. They're not quite country, but then you start realizing, this really ain't my gig still.
Right,
it's just not it. And the things I love are still the things I love, and let me just go back to that hardcore. So then we start saying, okay, now, then she goes to tour with me. Then she's gonna go to Korn with me. We're going to Blink. We're going to Green Day. All that stuff. So actually, Blink and Green Day are more her, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not that hard nosed about what I just said. Like I will compromise to points. You know what I mean? But you're like
But I have boots, dude. I mean,
See, I won't go. See, that's where like.
But she got docs.
Yeah.
So compromise.
And here's the thing too. So and here's the thing too. I'll never stop anybody from doing what they want to do either. Like just because I don't want to do it doesn't mean that you're not going to do it. Right. So if I was in a that kind of like give and take relationship where it's like, hey, go enjoy. If you really want me to go, okay, no problem, I'll go. But I will be upset the whole time.
I know I am every time, dude.
Yeah,
Every
just
time.
know it's not somewhere where I want to be at that moment,
Yeah.
And but I won't ruin the time for you. I won't ruin it for you.
You know how weird
I'll,
this is gonna sound. There was one. Okay, Blake Shelton was cool. I liked him too. Right.
Yeah. See.
Carrie Underwood, dude, blew my mind.
Yeah.
We went to that, and I wasn't expecting it. And I'm sitting here, why am I at this fucking thing? She comes out dressed like a blue or green hefty bag looking suit. I'm like, this is horrendous. She looks like an Oompa Loompa.
You're a light bulb.
Right, what is this? And then she started singing. I was like, oh hell!
Yeah.
I said, what was that? That's somehow was my favorite one. I don't know.
Hey,
Sometimes
man,
it blows your mind. There's talent everywhere. It's just.
Julie's my go-to. She goes with me to just about every concert. If she doesn't go, then it's usually Kevin. Kevin will tag along, go someplace. Sometimes Jesse.
Your friend, people who don't know, our mutual friend Kevin. He's more into like the heavier stuff. Right.
His favorite band is Muse. He loves Muse. I freaking hate Muse.
Oh, forget it then.
He's always trying to get me to listen to Muse, and I'm like, dude, this guy's voice it's like fingernails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Every song, you do not need to go to 11. You do not need to go in every song. You don't have to do it, right? You can dial it back.
Yeah.
But no, his two favorite bands are Evanescence and Muse. And I'm like, I don't want to listen to.
Yeah,
is that why he was trying to get you to listen to the Unplugged? Gotcha. It wasn't for Korn, it was for Evanescence.
Evanescence and The Cure, because Robert Smith.
That's right. He's on that too. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
so,
good.
No, he'll tag. I won't. He's asked me to go with him to a couple of shows, and I'm like, no, dude, I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I can't.
Well, see, I would love for you guys to go, but I don't want you to go if you don't want to. Like, I don't want you to be miserable at something you don't like. If you're not into it, I'm gonna be like, oh, look at these guys. They're not into it.
I want to.
Right in the middle, jumping on each other. Come on, guys!
Right, let's have some fun. I want to. We both want to go see Gary Newman. You remember Gary Newman from the 80s? Yeah. Well, his music now is nothing like it was back then. It's very Nine Inch Nails now. It's very hardcore, very industrial. It's very, dude. I think you'd like it, but it is not the Gary Newman of yesteryear.
Yeah, he did the cover of Cars with Fear Factory with him singing on it, and so like Fear Factory is like an industrial metal, and I was just like, they got Gary Newman to do the like to sing with the band. I'm like, oh hell, this guy's awesome. So that's
Gary Newman do the Toy Story song?
No, that's
oh god, what's that guy's name?
It's Newman, right? It's Newman.
It is. It is Newman.
Not Paul.
Randy Newman. Randy.
Hey, I've seen how many branches we can connect in this episode to totally different things.
Oh yeah, dude.
No, that's been out of control.
Gary Newman. Check out the album Savage, and he's got another one. Yeah, he's got another one called Splinter, and it's just they're really, really good. So there you go.
I'll write it down, man. Yeah. Music is an interesting subject because it causes a lot of arguments with people, but it's very subjective. Again, people have their likes and dislikes, and there's certain things like I sent you guys that I just thought it was so over the top great, the Eaton song. I know Scott, you didn't listen to it.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah. Oh, okay, but it's just one of those things I go, this is so fun. It's just about a guy who wants to be eaten alive, and I was like, "This is awesome."
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes flipping awesome. Like I was like, I don't know because you don't. It's not serious. It's just horror entertainment, and
it's Juggalo style.
Yeah, dude. And I was just like, this is fucking badass. I love this, and I really like that kind of I forget what they used to call it back in the day. What was it? Like the 70s cinema stuff that Quentin Tarantino always references. Is it shock? But it's like something like that. But it's
schlock. It's like
it's a weird grindhouse.
There you go.
It's real that grindhouse theater.
Oh yeah, not schlock. That's right.
You know,
that's
Whatever.
the ultimate
What-
dimension, Spock.
Rob Zombie-ish, white Zombie-ish, like that.
Yeah.
That Grindhouse, you know, the Texas Chainsaw kind of stuff. Yeah, it's cool, man. I have fun with it. I have fun with music, you know, and the
Same.
movies. You know, dude, if I can watch Greasy Strangler and get like, this is a great freaking father-son experience out of that movie, and people go, "What the?" You cannot get that out of this memo. I did. I got that. It was a great father-son moment.
Yeah.
It's such a weird movie, dude.
So
Like,
heartwarming. So
Everything
heartwarming.
you've made me watch is weird.
I haven't made you watch anything weird yet. Like really weird. All right.
I disagree.
No,
I forget what it
like
was.
there's stuff that if I let you watch, I mean, we're already the stuff that I that you watched that I suggested probably hindered our friendship. But I just hold my
It did. It hindered trust.
hold my
That's
beer,
true.
like
That's
hold my beer, dude. Like seriously.
God.
I mean, you got to
for those-
experience
for
life,
those not
dude.
for those not in the know here, Marco decides to try and get us to watch the most vile things imaginable, saying that it's
Sometimes.
revolutionary. It's the most amazing thing you'll ever
No,
see. It's
dumb.
You haven't watched Savage Land yet. You haven't
No,
watched it.
I haven't been able to find it.
Have you
yet.
watched
You
Greatest
will-
Showman yet?
No.
He's not going to watch that.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
It's really good
No,
though.
I will,
great.
but it has
You
to
need
be in
to
front of
watch
me. Yeah.
Speaking of Greatest Showman, all right, Joker. Did you watch the
Yeah.
trailer for Joker?
Yeah.
No.
I'm
No?
digging it, dude.
I'm in. Yeah, I'm in. But
yeah.
it's okay. It looks almost like it's just repeating the first story, just with Harley in it now.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's doing the same kind of stuff, but she's not. Doesn't look like she's a doctor. Obviously, she's a patient. Right? Do you think it's
Really?
all just gonna be in their heads the whole? Like we didn't know about the
Yeah,
first
of course.
movie,
No.
right?
So
So it's
well,
wild.
Well, it's a musical also, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
so
Music.
okay, so taking this version of the Joker, how again, it was all what he saw was reality to him, and it was like this whole thing, right? He was in love with the neighbor girl, but he has actually killed her in real life.
Yeah,
But he was,
yeah.
and that I thought that was brilliant as far as like a joke, like this type of DC twist on this type of character. With Harley Quinn, if in her head it's a musical to her, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, 'cause
That
it makes
is cool.
sense because she sees butterflies and shit when she's fighting and things like
Yeah.
that on the comic side. So if she's like kind of living in a musical, that
Yeah.
that tracks pretty well.
And she was the Joker's therapist, right?
Yeah,
and then
before.
got psychotic,
Harley Quinzel.
psychotic before that, and he made her basically go nuts. And I want to see it if this movie is, because obviously
I think she's
changed up
already
in the-
nuts. It looks like she's already there's no
Well,
doctor involved.
She was already, but it took him to bring that out into her, right? And I still want that symbiotic relationship of she's just infatuated with him, but now she's living this alternate reality, like her psychoticness or character came out of this. And of course, Joker plays her like a violin.
So in their own mind, they're clowned up, and
I
they
love
have it's Jester
Yeah.
Harley, right? Like it was the one with the diamonds, proper like a Harley in there. It was neat,
Yeah,
and I like his version of Joker. His look,
I
of
do
Joker,
too, man.
So
It's different. It's different, and that's the so like Christopher Nolan's Batman series was the grounded Batman, right? Like grounded,
yeah.
which was very. I actually liked it a lot because when Batman got beat up, and it took him a long time to recover, especially on that third one where, it was because it's set in reality, right? It's not.
Yeah.
He was like, my knees are shot.
But
Yeah, my knees are shot. I need a successor, right? So he hires Joker at the end, or Robin to fill the shoe at the end, right?
Yeah.
But that was cool because again, it was
Robin.
everything in it was ground. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
suggested, but this one is like going deep into it was so funny how like when Joker came out, people had the warnings of you're gonna witness psychotic episodes of this and that, and like when I went to the theater, there was armed guards at every movie
Really?
theater.
Yeah,
Because I went with Joey and Mike, and there was guards there. And I was like,
they were checking
Do you-
purses.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a direct reaction to what happened
Yes.
at the Dark Knight, the shootings that happened in the dark,
Yes.
or the shooting that happened? Okay.
The
So
last time
it
there was a
all,
Joker movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
it was and of course the times of just all kinds of tension in school shootings and stuff.
There
But
was
yeah,
crazy shit going on right then too. I can't remember which one it was because there was a lot of crazy shit going on, but there was some crazy shit going on.
I thought it was like Charlottesville and stuff that happened right before or around that, and then it was like, yeah, and of course the Colorado Batman shooting.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. And I was like, well, and then you watch the movie and you go, I don't see how anybody can make that. Besides, am I funny to you, Murray? And he blasts Robert De Niro's character.
That's a pretty great scene.
And it is a kind of like commentary on, you got one dude.
One bad day. That's Joker, right? That's how he plays out. One bad day.
We can relate to this in a different aspect. Like, we're not psychotic. We're not going to do this, but we live in this bubble world of comic books and pop culture and entertainment, right? And of course, the outside world, we've all grown up with it. We've all been teased about it, beaten up, bullied about it and everything. So there's a point where, like, you go to any Comic-Con and you see these people living in that same bubble, and the outside world goes, look at these freaks. Look at this. Like, what are they wasting their life? And so the two clash. So when you have a movie of the bubble lashing out into the collective, and that scares scaring the straights. You know what I mean? It's like, oh crap! You got this dude who actually killed the commentator, Robert De Niro's character, for making fun of the stuff he was into, and we all relating to this Joker character. I'm this person, and you're laughing at me, and I think that's where the nervousness came from. But it was,
yeah. No.
Maybe
it was
it's a
good
dumb statement to say that to handle it, but yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Have you guys watched it since?
No.
I haven't either. I saw it in the
dude.
theater. I went by myself. I was off that day.
See, that's where you need the armed guards. If a white man goes to by himself.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And I walked out of the movie theater going, wow, okay, I don't need to see that again. I mean, it was like it was like a reaction. It's like, there's no need to ever see that again. It was like,
that was, and it was good. I'm the same way with the Batman. I'm the same exact way with the Batman. I never had to revisit it, and I know it was good. I enjoyed it. I was cool, and I'm ready for Batman 2. I'm ready for Joker 2. It's so weird that,
but you know why? I can tell you why on Joker, but Batman I don't. The Joker's because it was a twist. It was kind of like, what are we watching here? And then the big reveal at the end. So you're watching this going like, it's almost like watching another murder mystery movie where you don't need to watch it anymore.
Sixth Sense, I know what happens at the end. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With the Batman,
right.
With the Batman, it's just too damn long to sit through again. Like, if I see it, I go, oh, I don't want to sit through 3 hours of it.
Yeah,
that's probably a big point. Yeah, and I don't even think about it being 3 hours, but as soon as I see it, I would see it.
I'm like, not right now. I want to watch it again, but not right now. I don't want to spend 3 hours watching this right now.
Yeah.
And I went and saw, The Dark Knight. I went and saw that in the theater, and I had a visceral reaction to that movie. I left angry. Yeah, it was just, I don't know why, but I just left pissed off about it. But I will go back and watch it anytime because it's a great movie. And I haven't had that kind of reaction since, but it's just
mad because it wasn't true to the
no.
Or mad because we weren't going to get a continuation because he died.
I think it was part of that. It was partly that, and it was also just I don't know. There was just something that happened in the movie, just character wise, that just really ticked me off. But I loved it, and I will go back and I'll watch it over and over again, and it's still a great flick. But
you know what?
I think it was just a dredge of a movie. It was just a downer. Everything that happened from Two-Face to Batman's girlfriend getting blowed up, and Batman becoming a villain he has to be the villain that Gotham needs, or whatever that line was. The Joker, never seeing the Joker again. It was just a downer of a movie. So I walked out just pissed and down. But I love it. It's a great movie. The emo kid in me, the goth kid, just loves it. Right?
It's the Empire of the trilogy for sure. Right?
Yes,
everything.
Absolutely.
But it's not. Batman Begins is my favorite one of that trilogy. I love Batman Begins. I don't know why. Put them up against each other, and it's. I don't know. I think Dark Knight's probably a better movie. Like kind of like I say with Andor, right? Like Andor is like probably the best thing Star Wars has made. Period, but just not near my favorite. Kind of like Dark Knight. It's probably the best thing. I love Joker in there, but it's just Batman Begins for some reason. I can watch that one in a heart. I can watch that for a couple days straight and love that one.
Yeah, Joker stole the show, and I think that's what makes that movie kind of like, look at this. This is odd. Like Joker's.
It makes it powerful.
Yeah,
it does.
The pencil is
the
one of the
third
greatest scenes
yeah.
ever, dude. When that happened, that was like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm like,
now we're playing.
This movie's awesome. Yeah.
This Joker.
This ain't no Jack Nicholson. This ain't no Caesar Romero.
What pissed me off was Bane. That was like the most untrue representation of a character on those standards ever.
Such a mishmash of different Batman stories too. You had the No Man's Land stuff that happened, in the comics, and you had Bane breaking the back, and it was like they took 5 different stories, mashed them all together, and none of it worked.
None of it worked. And rushed Catwoman, Bane, like from being the thief to the love to knowing that Catwoman's whole story got done in one 20-minute span.
Yeah.
And it was being a luchador, in a Mexican prison or Puerto Rican prison, I don't remember where he was, to being that. Yes, I'm going to stop you, Batman.
See, I understand that the Nolan series took the fantasy out of the Batman world, took fantasy out of it, but I think that certain IPs you just don't do that. And I think that's why it works sometimes. Like the Batman Begins, because the enemies in Batman Begins weren't fantasy. They were like true villains. And then you get into like Bane and it's like, well, you took all that out, you took that away, and you try to ground them into, like I said, if these characters actually existed today. And it just like I said, sometimes it doesn't work. And I'm waiting for, what was it? 89 Batman was perfect. It was a comic book movie. From like the story to like the color, everything about it worked.
Well, it was a darker comic book movie, right?
Oh yeah,
I think Batman and Robin and Batman Forever are better comic book movies.
They look
like a comic book.
You're right.
89 is a graphic novel movie.
There you go. There you go.
89 Batman was the true comic book coming to life, like Batman comic
of that era.
Yes. When you get into the Schumacher movies, you get into like this, like
the 70s, 60s, 70s camp is returning.
Yeah, I just didn't.
Still though, I still think Batman Forever isn't terrible. Batman Forever isn't terrible. Batman and Robin is awful.
I agree. It's every other movie to me.
I like them both. I like
love Batman Returns. I do love Batman Returns.
Same. I love all four of them, dude. And I like. Good.
I didn't like Batman Returns as much as I like Batman. Right. So Batman Returns is great. Both were good. Yeah. Both were Tim Burton. And then after that, it was the Shoemaker, right? Yeah. Or I don't know who did 3. Batman 3. Was it him?
It was Schumacher, but I think Tim Burton.
That's with Riddler. That's with Mr. Freeze and okay. I like that one. That was a good
Carrey and Two-Face. It was Riddler and Two-Face.
That's right. And then the fourth one was
Bane, Poison Ivy, and Mr.
Freeze. Yeah. And that's the one I was like, whoa.
No,
that's
man.
Batman and Robin, right?
I still like that one too. Yeah. I still like that one too. I like them all.
You're 100%. It is comic booky with it, like the
every time I watch it, because it plays out like you're watching the frames.
Yeah,
it really does.
When I need to revisit it again. Yeah,
because I think when you do, I really think everybody shits on that both of them pretty well.
You know what? I don't like Chris O'Donnell, and I don't like Batgirl or Robin. I don't like them.
Up, Uncle Alfred.
Yeah, look, man, it's kind of just a consequence of the time.
Yeah,
right. That's who you were going to use right there. Chris O'Donnell's just too old and too.
Chris O'Donnell did, but
Chris O'Donnell was Nightwing, but it kind of was Nightwing, right? Like even the suit, it was.
Yeah,
he came in as the older. Already.
I just remember seeing
Alfred.
Yeah, right. I remember seeing the trailer for Batman Forever, and it was Chris O'Donnell walking to the camera, talking to Batman, and he goes, "I don't know. You can call me whatever you want, Batboy, Nightwing." And I'm like, "Oh, he said Nightwing." And I remember seeing that in the trailer and just getting so excited they acknowledged the name Nightwing, right?
Yeah.
And then use the gear.
and then use the gear.
And actually, pretty accurate Nightwing costume. Honestly, it's almost like Titans.
Different colors.
Yeah. Since we're on a bit of a Batman kick, have you guys ever watched the Harley Quinn cartoon?
I love it.
I have.
It's so great.
I have, and that's where I was like, Scott, DC needs to be rated R, all of it, because it's so good. It's so good.
Harley should, Joker should, those kind of characters should. Yeah, absolutely.
But the cartoon was like, I mean, I know that was way over the top, like NC-17 R, that's the kind of stuff. But
I freaking love that Alan Tudyk plays Bane. Right?
Yeah,
and he plays Bane like he's got the mask on and all that. But it is Alan Tudyk, man. You put that guy in anything, and I'll watch it. But
Steve the Pirate, Dodgeball.
Yeah,
Dodgeball.
I always think about him from Knight's Tale.
Yeah, Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale. Have you guys watched Resident Alien?
No.
Okay, Resident Alien. It's a show that I think it's on. It's on Peacock. So I think you can watch it on Peacock. But he is an alien that crashes on Earth, immediately murders a doctor that is played by Alan Tudyk, and then takes over the face. He takes over Alan Tudyk's body. But there's a kid that sees him as the alien. So the kid knows he's an alien, but he's trying to exist in this small Colorado town as the town's doctor, whenever he's actually in reality trying to destroy the Earth.
I saw the trailer for that. I did.
The makeup in it is amazing. The story's great. It's just he's fantastic in it. So if you get a chance, watch Resident Alien.
What's that on?
Check it out.
I think it's on Peacock. I'm watching it. Yeah, I'm watching on Peacock right now, and it's. I know that seasons 1 through 3 are on Netflix.
Jeez, man, I'm really very late to the game.
No, seasons 1 through 2 are on Netflix. Season 3 is playing right now. Season 3 just ended. So,
I gotta catch up on X-Men 97.
I gotta start it.
Dude, the first 3 episodes are insane. The 4th episode is and really dark. The 4th episode is kind of like a and then I heard that episode 5 dropped today, and
I heard 5 was nuts. Yeah. I see everywhere. I think I put together what happened. So I'll just I'm gonna go catch up before I actually see it.
Yeah.
Before somebody actually.
How many episodes are there total? Is it like 5 or 8 or
right now? Oh, right now, how it's gonna be?
Like an entire thing. It's gonna be. You don't know? Okay.
I don't know. I'll ask Jake, see if he'll tell me. He's kind
didn't I see they were talking about crossing over with the other cartoons like Spider-Man and Friends and stuff, like doing that. I swear I saw that somewhere. That was the talk at Disney, was like that's another project bringing all these cartoons. That's the smart thing to do. I mean, I think animation's most of us are all cool with that kind of stuff, you know.
I'll tell you what the other smart thing to do if Disney, if this is a cautious effort for them to do it and to carry on moving forward is, like I said, I haven't seen 97, but the things that I've heard about, you know, deaths and whatever progression of thing, I think that is very important when you are telling these kind of stories to have those impacts and not play it safe all the time. Like not play it safe just to do another one all the time. Like let's do, for example, you know, going back to like the MCU stuff, when they killed off characters, I was like, cool. But then to talk about them coming back was the wrong move. So I'm hoping that, you know, even in animation form, they start this kind of trend of like, all right, guys, we got the story group here and we're going to do these things. It's going to carry over, cross over to Spider-Man and Friends, cross over to like, you know, this and stuff, and maybe get some real progression into things and keep it that way. Like,
I think with Marvel and Marvel and DC, I think it's better to keep them separate, to be honest. I think Star Wars is the only one that I like all together. I think when it comes to the other ones, then you got to then it's a lot just to do for anybody.
Yeah,
you know?
But the problem is they live in the same world. You know what I mean? Like,
but they don't. Marvel's always been a multiverse, 616 and beyond, and multiverse in DC. You know, you Earth Prime and what have you. It's just not.
But the characters exist in every world. You know what I'm saying?
That.
Like,
different, some than others, right? So
right, some don't recognize it, but for the most part, it's like today's story. If you're doing it that today's storyline telling, again, MCU's kind of spoiled that for a lot of things where everything connects and everything blends into each other, all related. When you're getting into like, here's this story of this time and here's this story this time, and they might, as far as time wise, run together, but they don't recognize each other. You're getting into that comic book world where they just rebooting. And today's consumer or us, I'm just talking for like maybe myself, maybe I like it to where it's like maybe this impacts future things going on and watching one big story unfold. And it doesn't necessarily have to, you can break off and be like,
Joker is a good example of just breaking off and
so
still staying in that universe though, because that's I had originally thought the Joker was going to go completely off the rails, but then the tie-in with Thomas Wayne and the whole bit that threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting
meeting Bruce as a kid through the gate, right? And like him stalking Thomas Wayne.
Well, but they exist because you're in Gotham, right? And they are famous people in Gotham. It's just a maniac. Right. This kid may never be Batman.
I thought it was completely separate from. I thought it was just the Joker existing in a world. I didn't know that it was going to be
tied into the actual
actually in Gotham dealing with.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
I don't know. Like maybe it's just like me getting older and running out of patience and stop like tired of always watching a movie or a series and for like this long game that they never kind of put cherries on top of things.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was saying. I'm okay with like one-offs now. I'm like, give me a Batman story here because we're again comic readers and comic people. I don't have to have the big connection. I don't have to. Give me a cool movie. I can quite easily separate Batman 89, Batman Forever. No problem. And those are always pretty close to each other. It's pretty easy because they're different comics. That's all you think about is it's a different comic, different writer, different year.
Yeah. There is no such thing as a definitive. Like it's so funny because there's no such thing as a definitive. When people say this didn't happen in Batman comics, which version? Like
that makes it so difficult with the multiverses, right? So you got to go. You would think Earth. The main thing has to be his parents dying in the alley, right? And that has to be, otherwise you turn.
And they keep trying to reinvent that sometimes all the way.
They do all the time, but it always comes back to that's the canon, the understood, history of Batman is that, and Superman comes from, it all has to work the same. All their beginnings have to be similar.
Yeah.
That's it though. Everything else, go nuts, dude. And that's how it's been.
But don't go too nuts though, because we all saw Green Lantern.
Yeah, damn.
Don't go too nuts.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just killed this conversation.
Yeah, no, the thing with Green Lantern, dude, and I like.
I was just about to say
he was already Deadpool, right there. I mean, in that he was Deadpool. I liked Kilowog. I loved Sinestro. I loved all that, right? Was okay, but it come off goofy. It's kind of like Thanos' world too. I never liked where Thanos was. Type of feeling, right? You're just in the middle of nothing. I just don't like it. The problem with me was the city, right? It was
Coast City.
Coast City. Thank you. Mm-hmm. You have to have a personality in every town. That thing was just white ass buildings. You're just next to a parking garage during the next big fight in a plain ass building, and maybe 15 people. It was just weird. Like Gotham has personality. Metropolis has personality. Central City has personality. We got nothing out of Coast City, right? Except that Ferris Air was there,
right?
And that was pretty boring too, to be honest.
Yeah, My problem with the Green Lantern movie, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie, was the
everything
as opposed to
the comedy in it was the
the
levity or comedy or whatever. It was just like are you taking this serious? I mean, like you're gonna
the whole Taika Waititi scene with do it again. That whole doesn't the hero always get the girl? Like everything was delivered so poorly.
Yeah. I think that's my major problem where I did get a chance to absorb everything else because I was just so Last Jedi. I didn't get a chance to absorb the movie proper like the first couple times because 5 minutes into it, I'm going like, Chris, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what are we, Chris, wake up. What are we doing?
I had to go to Green Lantern 3 times in a row.
Oh, you did? I
went to opening night. I think we all went to opening night, and I probably had some baseball kids, and we all did the Green Lantern right there. But Logan fell asleep, and the Green Lantern is Logan's favorite, right? Yeah. So I'm like, all right, next morning, we're going to take off school, buddy. This is Friday now, right? Thursday we went. Friday, we're going to take off school. Let's go. We go to the first show at 10. Son of a bitch falls asleep again. Saturday, attempt 3, he stays up, but I had to watch that thing 3 times. Little ass.
I told you how I saw it, right?
Forget.
I went to the Warner Brothers studio lot.
Yes.
There with Jake from X-Men. It was his first big Hollywood gig, was working on Green Lantern.
When you say Jake from it's anything else. Yeah, it just sucks that you say anything else.
Was he wearing khakis? I'm sorry. Wait, you know what, he was.
But seeing it with Bruce Timm in the room and with all the group that actually created the animated series, so hyped about their animated series, and then we all sat down and watched the movie, and every one of them afterwards we're like, we're done. This is the end of our show.
They didn't even see that coming, so they didn't have any nothing. Wow.
No,
that's heartbreaking.
That's animated at DC Animation and Warner Brothers Movies. They have nothing to do.
It's like Verizon Wireless and Verizon, 2 separate,
and Frontier, and all of that, right? I know, right?
Sorry, Chris. I had to do it.
But
Verizon was there before Verizon Wireless, by the way. That was the merger of GTE and Bell Atlantic.
Right.
And then we made Verizon. And people would call us and be like, why is this Verizon? It's not who I signed up for. Man, that's how brands change quick, right? That's like a household name now, Verizon. All right, back to you. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm still around.
Yeah.
But that was a bummer.
Yeah, I saw it on I don't know, it's a HBO, whatever. I go, Green Lantern, and at first I'm like, I kind of want to explore it again, but at the same time, I have maybe
I'll put it a while here and there. I do like it's not so much what I like, but I like when we're dealing with the core. I like that part. Those parts are very cool.
I will say that the director's cut is a little bit better, but also there's some continuity issues in the movie that don't quite flow. So there you go. Be warned.
I did like the little bit of I'd like the cheekbone comment. I don't know that with the domino mask. That made me laugh because I'm like, and somebody can see through all these little dumb masks, right? I mean, Lois can't see through glasses in a different part. At least Hero was able to see through the mask. I've seen you naked. I'm like, right. You guys, come on, all of you.
That's kind of what pissed me off about Man of Steel is whenever they don't even mess around with it. It's just like, hi, yes, I am Clark. I am Superman. And
you know what? You're right, dude. And I can see why some folks wouldn't dig it and dig the Christopher Reeves more, right? But there's also that point where I think now maybe that's part of, we can't make her look so stupid because Lois went for that for a very long time, way too long, right? So they wouldn't have I think everybody realizes an investigative reporter, the top-notch investigative reporter, should have sorted this out pretty quick. So
I mean, she did smash that. Figure out when Clark his hand didn't burn, and she kind of put 2 and 2 together, and then he wouldn't rescue her when she fell through Niagara Falls, and it's like, I thought you were gonna save me. I'm not Superman. Oh, okay. I mean,
what? Good stuff. Yeah. See, she's not. So I mean,
and you guys don't want to redo those movies.
No. I mean, I think it was all right the way it was. They turned it out to, because if she didn't understand it, I think it would have got ridiculous for everybody.
My hope is high for James Gunn's version. I think we've got the right guy in charge. I hope. But it's everything he does though has a heavy comedic spin to it. So I'm a little.
Will that work with a Superman movie? Like, will that work?
I think he said he was toning it down. I could have swore I saw somewhere that it was going to get toned down. Don't think it's going to be like Guardians or anything like that. That it's a heartfelt. Well, so is Guardians though. Type of thing. And he understand. He wanted it. He asked. He decided. He didn't ask. He's the boss. He decided he was taking Superman on as the flagship beginning of this whole thing. That's a lot of pressure. He has his finger on the pulse of everybody. He's on Twitter all the time responding to stuff about the movie, right? Yeah. So he understands what people think, people want, and what he's not going to do. And he keeps track, man. He's on this. There's no way. I have James Gunn is floaty to me as far as these movies go, because not once have I been upset.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
I can watch the Suicide Squad right now and be really happy about it.
What's helping also is our expectations. I don't think there is even a level because of what we've been dealt. And it's almost like, this can't be any worse, right? I mean, seriously, it cannot be any worse. It really can't. I honestly think, like, if they went any worse than like Aquaman, they're deliberately trying to make it bad.
Aquaman 2, Shazam, or Black Adam.
They're just did you see that in wrestling? I'm sorry, go back to wrestling. Some guy in the background when The Rock was up, it had a sign that says Black Adam sucks.
No, I didn't see it. Awesome. Dude, wrestling fans are awesome.
Yeah.
It did.
Sorry.
It did,
Again, if anything that this point where DC's they're deliberately trying to make it bad. Seriously, like, I mean, I honestly I think I can comfortably say it cannot be any worse than Shazam, Black Adam, Aquaman.
Hey, Shazam was good. I like Shazam.
I hate Shazam. I thought it was
Shazam
so
1 I like. Shazam 2.
Like
Shazam 1 was trash.
Yeah. I thought it was stupid.
You know, though, you get Black Adam, and on paper, Black Adam sounds great. You've got Dr. Fate, you've got Hawkman, you've got
I love the story,
Smasher,
sure, but
and then you get them all on screen. It's like none of these people look like the characters they're supposed to portray. You got Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. It's like, holy shit, this is great. And then he puts on a helmet, and the helmet has no eyes, and it's got the outfit's weird, and it just did not work.
Yeah, with Shazam, it wasn't the look of it, and it wasn't even Shazam himself. It was everybody else around him, and it was like
it was more a Marvel movie,
than
a DC movie. You put it over in the Marvel universe, that would have worked.
Yeah, better. I don't know. I'm trying not to be that cynical about it, but like I tried. I did make a cautious effort.
Well, good for you for trying. Good for you for trying.
2 is pretty much garbage, though.
I couldn't get. I don't think I finished it. I was like,
and I haven't got through Aquaman 2 yet.
It's started, trash, dude. It is. Which, sorry, it's just bad.
There's 2 movies I have not gotten through yet, and one is Black Panther 2.
I did.
I can't stand it.
The bookends were nice. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. It was a very good homage, and
drawn out.
But it was like, again, I always kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we? I don't know what we're supposed to be doing anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
what are these movies? It's still there's been like 15 movies. Since Endgame. Yeah, it's like we're like, where are we right now?
It's like we're witnessing every angle, and I don't know what we're supposed to be. I don't know what we're supposed to be doing anymore. And
I hate when Deadpool comes out. Which, by the way, the Wolverine mask, right, looks awesome.
Yeah,
you guys all saw that on the cup.
Yeah,
I put in it. Right?
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna, dude. Wolverine kills the MCU or whatever he does right now. He just fixes, or Deadpool kills the TVA. Whatever he does, he's gonna fix all the madness, and we're gonna be left with all the good shit. And that's all it's gonna be. That's what I have faith in right now. Is there like, you know what? We have a reset button. We just worked this whole Loki 2 show around a TVA and timeline of Loki in charge of shit, right?
Yeah.
Now we have Deadpool that's going to infiltrate the TVA somehow or get involved or whatever. And you see he destroys Fox in the stuff. So ape shit, dude. Let's go. Unless that Fox thing, you know what I hope is the Fox thing is just the opening montage.
Oh, right.
You know how they do the slow motion stuff going through some 80s song going, you're hearing Careless Whisper and he's breaking through shit. And
the problem, not the problem, but the fear is you got this movie Deadpool and Wolverine. Again, could be like, oh my God, cool. And everything that precedes it is crap again because they can't formulate a thought. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that this can formulate a thought because say you do reset it, and maybe this does reset it. You got Fantastic Four and you got Galactus and you got Silver Surfer, whatever it is, and then maybe the introduction of mutants and stuff, and then you still have 2 Avenger movies that were slated because you still have the Skrulls. You still have them to deal with, right? Yep. I don't think it's going to be wrapped up. So I think that you're going to be
the Skrulls is a complicated thing to be having going on during a multiverse madness, right?
You know what? They should have ended it, and like I said, you might start over, but then you still don't know what you're doing after that. It's like this movie gave you like this fresh chalkboard, and you still,
You really do.
Yeah. So that's my again. Hey, I don't care. This is our entertainment. We're allowed.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I kind of want to map out the MCU this phase, and I don't care that much, but I really kind of want to, just because it's like, this is taking us this route. This goes over why this person was in this movie, but it didn't connect to their show.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like the Flashpoint, right? That they did the Flash movie, right? And then you have James Gunn saying, we're going to do all these things, but we're going to let these other movies play out. And then you're going to have this Flashpoint.
You're to see just how bad it can get.
Yeah.
Where I come in here and save it.
And it's and it's almost like you let all this stuff happen, and then you're going to kick off with this new Superman movie, but all this stuff happened, and you didn't really. I don't know what you did. You reset the map, but then you reset it, picking up right where you left off on it. Going forward, and now the Superman movie is supposed to save it when. Again, let it play out. Let it see what happens. But that's the problem with it. Just don't know they don't know what they're doing yet. It's almost like, maybe, like I said, maybe James Gunn comes in and it's a whole different direction on that. With Marvel, this movie is great, but I don't know if it's going to do what we want it to do or what it should be doing. Because I think they're just going to pick right back up where they left off and be so convoluted. It'd be like, because I don't think they're going to drop the multiverse. I don't think they're going to drop the TVA. I don't think they're going to drop those things because, there'll be a Loki season 3 and it'll pick right back up. And then Deadpool was just a little bit of a.
Oh, I don't think there can be a Loki season 3.
I think so.
Either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's other Lokis, I suppose.
That's true. It could be.
They could end it, but I don't think they will.
Oh my God.
That's my right.
Yeah.
You look at it. They could just go, hey guys, back off.
I hope they're all in a room like this, like the main people, and what did we do? How did we fix this?
That's where I feel the Star Wars team did.
What happened?
I think the Star Wars team did that.
Yeah. And it seems like they are. Yeah.
I think so because again, you had all of these, like you said, you look at the slate and you look at these things, you look at the interviews and what they did, and Mandalorian came out and it was a happy mistake that it took off the way it did. Because the way they were doing the show and the way the show came out was two different things. And then they go, oh my God, we have a path that we can start do this kind of thing here. And now we can bridge a real plan. So you know what we need to do? We need to end the Mandalorian season 3 at this point. And from this point on, Ahsoka set up all this stuff. And now we can go. So now we have a path. So we got into a room and we're all seeing eye to eye, but we're going to have to abruptly end some things. Cancel this, cancel that, just say, oh, whatever, just, make this up. And then, but from this point on, we have this trajectory, Yeah.
And I suppose that's what DC is doing, but they had to do the things that were already in motion.
It was already let it play out, right?
Or else it becomes one of those situations with the taxes and nobody can ever see the light of day type of thing.
Right.
And, and then we're going to do that again. So it's like,
it's
funny.
Know,
everything needs a reset because everybody jumped a shark quite a bit recently.
It's almost like our card game. Everybody's putting their hands in it, and not a lot of people know what they have and what they're putting their hands into. They just want to be a part of it. And all of a sudden, at the end of the day, 2 years fast forward, we screwed it up. We screwed it up because we didn't know how to handle this, right? So,
yeah. All right. Well, on that, we wrap back up
with
Star Wars, right?
Everything comes back around.
Yeah.
So. I love these Beyond the Pits, man, because you could just kind of just freely talk and nothing. At the end of the day, nothing comes out of it, but just some random thoughts and how we fix the world.
That one was line talk. That was straight line talk.
Oh yeah,
it is.
That was an hour and a half, 90 minutes. That was 90 minutes of line talk. Just starting with one thing and every single thing we could touch.
Yeah.
I mean, you go through that. It was.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.